Okay. Hey. I know y'all been checking your feeds every day waiting. All four of you been waiting for this. Fabu's back to talk about some video games, guys. Let's go. And you know what? Let's not just go. Let's go hard. I'm gonna open this up with a very definitive statement that I'm going to try to prove to you guys throughout this video. Yakuza Like a Dragon is the best JRPG since Persona 5. Just hands down. Honestly, it might even be, I think, now that I think about it, I don't think I've thought about this yet. So, hot takes coming right off the presses. Yakuza Like a Dragon is a better game than Persona 5.
Excuse me, what?
I know at least one of y'all is gonna fight me over that. I don't know if I should have said that. I kind of have to back that up. That's a pretty big claim because Persona 5 is one of my favorite games of all time. So saying this game is better than one of my favorite games of all time, is Yakuza Like a Dragon one of my favorite games of all time? I mean, I haven't beaten it yet. I think I've racked up around 20, 25 hours into the game so far. And I was planning on just powering through it and just going at it to try to get a review out because I just really wanted to talk about the game. I just could not wait to talk about it. Then I realized I don't want to rush through this experience. This is a really special experience, for me at least, and I do not want to see that end so quickly just because I want to talk about it on the internet to 4 people. So this is just going to be an impressions video because I want to take my time with this game because it is already something truly special, and I don't want that to run out anytime soon.
I wrote a blog post a while ago about why I f***ing hate video games, because this is what it does. It appeals to like the male fantasy.
So if you're even at all familiar with the Yakuza franchise, you're probably going into this thinking, oh hell yeah, I gotta dress up all spiffy, beat the shit out of some people with some cool combos, you know? Because the Yakuza franchise has historically been an action brawler franchise. Yakuza Like a Dragon takes the franchise in a little bit of a different direction. I know that after 6 or 7 games, doing the same thing is probably a little bit tiring for the developers. They probably wanted to try something new, which they definitely did because this game is no longer action brawler. It's now a turn-based JRPG, and it is really, really good. And you know, that's gonna sound really disappointing to some fans who really loved that fast-paced action combat. You're of course probably gonna worry that the combat is slower, that it doesn't feel like Yakuza anymore. And I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say that the turn-based combat does not slow down the gameplay because, I mean, it does. It really does slow it down. But just because it slowed down, it never felt slowed to me. Because despite being a turn-based system, it does integrate some action elements in there. You do have quick time events that you can do in order to up the damage. Everything's a lot more dynamic here because the characters are moving around. They don't just stay in one spot. They're moving around as if they're in a street fight, and taking turn after turn, just walloping on each other. Some attacks just don't go the way you expect them to go. You can be targeting one enemy, another enemy could just walk by the animation, getting walloped in the process. It's really dynamic and pretty fun to play around with. Which for me at least pushed me to want to do things faster. I would look for an opportunity like, hey, if I go and wallop this guy, that guy will also get hit. So let me do this right now before he moves out of the way. There were just elements like that still made it feel pretty fast and fluid for me. It still felt like I was in a street fight. I really did not feel like I was just standing there waiting to take my turn. There was always something going on. In combat, things are always moving. There is never a moment where you feel like things are stopped. Weirdly enough, it kind of reminds me of a Final Fantasy VII Remake. That game's battle system took what was originally a turn-based battle system and turned it into an action-based battle system with turn-based elements. So it's kind of the polar opposite of what Yakuza Like a Dragon is doing. So if you were worried about the turn-based combat, don't. Though I do have to warn you, for the first 4 chapters of the game, the progression is a little slow. It wasn't until I think chapter 5 that I truly felt I was getting the most out of the combat system, that I was able to get a good flow of things. But once things click in there, I really think that those of you who are skeptical about the battle system will be in it for the ride. And even if you cannot find yourself getting into the combat system, I am positive that the battle music will be worth it for you, because they did not have to go as hard as they did on this game's soundtrack. But I'm glad they did. Ever since I started this game around a week ago, I've been walking around town with the Kamurocho battle theme just blasting in my head. You know, I was up in the mall the other day, and I was ready. I was just waiting for some people to come up on me with some baseball bats. We were ready. That is honestly the way that I decide whether a game's soundtrack is sublime or not. If it's top tier, top quality music, it has to be playing in my head as I'm walking around. If the music does not pop up in my head as I'm just doing daily boring stuff, then it just ain't top tier, I'm sorry. But luckily, Yakuza Like a Dragon, they knocked it out of the park. Oh my lord, just about every single track on this that I've heard tugs at me in some sort of way. I don't want to spoil this game's story. This game's story so far is very special, very unique. It touches on a lot of topics that I would have never guessed this game a game this goofy would touch on. But it touches on them in really, really sensitive and smart ways. There's a lot revolving around the homeless community in Injincho. Injincho is the city that you explore in this game. And the homeless people play a big part of this game, surprisingly. And I really, really appreciate that they are not just used as some sort of joke. When I realized that this game was going to have a big focus on the homeless community, I was really worried that it was going to be in poor taste and they were going to be kind of mean-spirited about it, because that's generally how homeless people are treated in the media. I am super glad to say, though, that they treat the topic with so much respect and insight. Now, I could talk about the game's combat, the game's music, the game's themes, and narrative all I want, but the real heart of the game, the real meat of the game, the real reason why the game keeps me coming back and back is the characters.
Stop! Don't open it! Hey, how's it going?
Hello there.
The protagonist, Ichiban Kasuga, is the most lovable, adorable, golden-hearted Boy Scout that I've ever seen. He is honestly an inspiration. This is the kind of characters I like to see in my games.
That ain't it. I'm just doing, you know, what a hero would do. A hero? Sure. I pretend I'm a hero when I fight. So what? When it's time to throw down, my brain just starts thinking in Dragon Quest terms.
You views life like Dragon Quest. You level up in life. You have your friends, your party. You have your job, which is your class, how you attack and stuff. I really like how they transfer a lot of JRPG elements into the modern world through his eyes. Now, for example, usually in JRPGs you'll have a summon system. Final Fantasy is very, very famous for this, for having these big monolithic enemies that can help you attack your enemies. Yakuza Like a Dragon has the same sort of thing, except they decided to poke a little bit of fun at Postmates with Pound Mates?
Time to call a friend! I summon you!
Now it sounds a little bit more risque than it actually is, but so Poundmates is the service where you call, you make an order, some big beefy dude comes up, slaps up your enemies. It's this really fun way of integrating modernity into typical JRPG tropes. And I'm really all for it. It keeps going. The more you play the game, the more there is things like that. And it's not just Ichiban who is a really fantastically written character. The entire cast is well voice acted. They're well written. I care about every single one of these characters and their stories. There's not been a single piece of side content that I've skipped out on or that I don't plan on playing, because all the writing in this game is really good, in my opinion, at least from what I've seen. The story could take a big left turn somewhere down the line and I wouldn't even know, but so far everything has been really great. Yeah, I'll look into Yakuza 7 Like a Dragon, because it is a really, really good game. I am enjoying it so much so far, and it's definitely, I'd say it's my game of the year. I'm only 25-30 hours in, but this is going to be my game of the year. I just can't see it any other way. I've noticed over the last year, a lot of the games I've been anticipating have been these really, really serious, dark stories that have a lot of weight and gravitas to them. There has not been a lot of levity in my gaming selection as of late. I mean, I played through The Last of Us Part 2, and that game absolutely broke me. There was a lot of existential dread after that game, and then like a month after that game came out, Ghost of Tsushima came out, which had that same really heavy sort of tone to it. And playing Yakuza Like a Dragon and seeing this character, Ichiban, be nothing but a hero. He wants nothing more in his life than to be a hero. And there's just something about that connects to me. And I'd like to think that maybe one day I could also be a hero like Ichiban. And then these are the characters I love to see in my games. But I know there's so much more out there to play right now than Yakuza, so guys, let me know what you've been playing. Have any of y'all dived into Assassin's Creed Valhalla yet? That's something I've been meaning to get into. I played probably a couple, 2 hours of it. And it's really fun. I am kind of annoyed that the Raven does not have that ability to ping enemies on the map. That was always something super useful for me. Okay, now before I let you go to enjoy the rest of your day, I just want to remind you, drink some water. If you have not drinking water in the last hour or so, please use this as a reminder. Just get up real quick, grab a cup, chug it down, come back, sit down, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know how that water tasted. You add some ice to it. Maybe you decided to drink some Kool-Aid. Kool-Aid's okay too, though you should really be drinking some water. Anyways, guys, I'll see you next time I decide to talk about video games on the internet. That's it from me. Have yourselves a great day.